Good day, everyone. Welcome to our General Mathematics class. I am Ma'am Shirley, and for today's discussion, we're going to have piecewise functions. Let's start. Okay, so to start with, let us first define a piecewise function. So pag sinabi natin piecewise function, it is a function made up of different subfunctions wherein each subfunction applies to different intervals in the domain. Para mas maintindihan, let us have an example. So, let's say we have f of x is equal to x plus 1 when x is greater than or equal to 1, negative x plus 3 when x is less than 1. So, as you can see, hindi gaya ng usual functions na na-encounter natin before. Dito, meron tayong dalawang subfunctions na i-apply depende sa value ng ating x. Like in this case, we will apply x plus 1 when the value of x is greater than or equal to 1, and we're going to satisfy or apply our second subfunction, negative x plus 3, if the value of x is less than 1. But before we continue, let us review some concepts on how we use notations in the number line. So, ako kasi mas naiintindihan ko siya kapag nag-i-illustrate muna ako. Okay? So, ayan. So, we have the set builder notation, the number line, and the interval notation. So, for the set notation, this makes use of the expression x such that x. For the sake of this discussion, we will focus on this inequality symbol for the set builder notation. So, we have the less than and greater than symbols together with the less than or equal to and the greater than or equal to. For the number line, ayan, we're very familiar with the number line. We will be using grouping symbols to mark our number line. So, we make use of the parentheses and also this one. So, in some books, they make use of the open circle instead of a parenthesis. And, of course, we also make use of the grouping symbol bracket. And, again, in some books, they use the closed circle. So, same with the number line, we make use of parentheses and brackets for interval notation. So, kung mapapansin ninyo, ayan, nilagay ko siya ng nakagroup. So, bakit siya nakagroup ng ganyan? So, ibig sabihin, there is a relationship between this first column, yung mga inequality symbol na ginamit natin, and the grouping symbol as well as the type of circle that we are going to use to mark our number line. So, gayon din dito sa ating pangalawang column, magkakasama sila. So, if we make use of the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, kasama niya si bracket, si closed circle, and of course, for the interval notation, is still the bracket. So, para mas maintindihan natin, bigay ulit tayo ng specific example for this. So, let us have an example. So, let's say we were given an expression in set builder notation such as this one. So, this is read as x such that x is greater than 5. Okay. So, how are we going to show that using a number line? So, doon sa discussion natin kanina, sabi natin, if we make use of the less than symbol and a greater than symbol, it goes with parentheses. And we have the open circle in some books. On the other hand, kapag ang ginamit natin ay less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, it goes with brackets, and we have the closed circle. So, tingnan natin, how are we going to express yung ating example dito in number line? So, since isang value lang naman ang nakabigay sa atin, which is 5, so lagyan na natin si 5 dun sa gitna ng ating number line. Now, dahil greater than symbol ang ginamit natin, ang gagamitin natin na grouping symbol dito, of course, will be the parentheses. Okay? So, parentheses tayo. The question is, saan papunta yung markings natin dun sa ating number line? Ang sabi dito sa ating example, x such that x is greater than 5. So, ano yung mga value natin na greater than 5? Pupunta ka ba sa kaliwa? Nandun ba yung mas malalaking value? O pupunta ka sa kanan? Okay. So, the answer is, of course, yung mga value natin na nasa kanan, iyon yung values na greater than 5. So, if we're going to mark our number line, it will be like this. Going to positive infinity. So, para hindi rin kayo nalilito dito kung saan direction ba kayo pupunta, you can make use of this. I'm going to give you a tip on this one. So, kung makikita nyo dito, di ba yung ating greater than symbol, saan ba siya nakaturo? Di ba naturo siya? As you can see here, nakaturo siya pa kanan. So, the same will be applied with our direction dito sa marking sa ating number line. So, dahil nakapakanan siya, you're going to the right. Okay? So, for the interval notation naman, gagawin lang naman natin na basis dito is our number line. So, for the number line, we have here the values 5 and positive infinity. 5, ang kasama ni 5 na grouping symbol ay yung ating parenthesis. And then, if we are dealing with infinity symbols like this one, it also goes with a parenthesis. So, to write that in interval notation, it will be like this. Okay? Let us have another example. Ayan. So, this time, let us have this example. So, we have here x such that x is less than or equal to 3. So, again, we have here a single value 3. So, for our number line, let us put that value, yan, sa gitna na lang din siya. Okay? So, in this case, we make use of this inequality symbol less than or equal to. So, again, dun sa ating previous slides. So, nakita natin that if we will be using the less than or equal to and greater than or equal to, ang gagamitin natin na grouping symbol to mark our number line are, eto, yung ating mga brackets. Okay? So, in this case, dahil meron tayong or equal to, we will be using a bracket. No? So, again, what direction are we going to mark our number line? Is it going to the left or going to the right? So, sabi nga natin, x such that x is less than or equal to 3. So, kung less than, that will be values going to negative infinity. Okay? So, pakaliwa tayo this time. So, to write this in interval notation, again, kukunin natin yung dalawang values na meron tayo rito. We have the negative infinity and then positive, we have the positive 3, and then follow the grouping symbol that we use. So, ulitin natin, kapag ka-infinite symbol ang ginagamit natin, dito, it goes with a parenthesis. Okay? So, our interval notation for this one will be this. So, we have negative infinity and then positive 3. Okay? Next, let us have this one. So, we have here, ayan. So, in this case, we have two values na. We have the negative 4 and positive 3. So, paano natin babasahin yung ganitong notation? So, same, we're going to have this x such that, then we're going to start with the middle. So, we have x such that x is greater than negative 4 but less than or equal to 3. Okay? So, how are we going to illustrate that using a number line? So, we have two values. So, ilalagay natin si negative 4 as well as positive 3 on our number line. So, as you can see here, ayun. So, we have already here the parenthesis. So, bakit parenthesis yung ginamit natin? Kasi po, with this one, ang ginamit natin is the less than symbol. So, we have here the less than symbol. Therefore, it goes with a parenthesis. Doon sa kabilang side naman natin, we make use of the less than or equal to. So, that will go with a bracket like this one. So, ano daw yung mga value? Sabi natin dyan, value wherein x is greater than negative 4. So, greater than yon. So, that will be pakanan, no? So, values that are greater than negative 4 but less than positive 3. So, we have here intersection ng values natin and that will be like that. Okay? So, yung values natin between those two endpoints, negative 4 saka positive 3. So to write that in interval notation, of course, we will be using the endpoints -4 and +3 and then follow the grouping symbol. So sa -4, it goes with the parenthesis, and then for +3, it goes with a bracket. Okay, so let us have this example. So as you can see here, in our example, we have here a union. So the symbol stands for a union. So we have the union of sets. So we have the first one, which is this one, the first expression, x such that x is less than or equal to -4. And then we have x such that x is greater than 3. So how are we going to express that or illustrate that using a number line? So the usual, paano natin siya ginawa kanina, similar lang din. So we have -4. Let us mark our number line by -4 and 3. So we have those two values. So illustrate muna natin yung ating first expression here. This one. So we have here x such that x is less than or equal to -4. Since we make use of the less than or equal to, so it goes with a bracket. So dahil less than or equal to, that will be going to the left side, going to negative infinity. And then for +3 here, since we make use of a greater than symbol, so it goes with a parenthesis. So greater than values, that will be all values going to the right, going to positive infinity. So to write that in interval notation, we will just base our answer dun sa ating number line. So it will be, ayan, so we have still the union here, the union symbol, and then we have here negative infinity, -4, and then we follow this one, since bracket yung ginamit natin, we have a bracket also here, and then we have 3 and positive infinity. Okay, so let us evaluate a piecewise function. Gamitin natin example natin kanina. So we have f of x is equal to x plus 1 when x is greater than or equal to 1. And then we have -x plus 3 when x is less than 1. So we are going to evaluate our function at the following points. Okay? So para mas ma-visualize natin siya, gamit tayo ng number line. So looking at our example, we can see here, meron tayong value lang for x. So ating reference value dito is yung 1. So ilagay natin si 1 din sa gitna. Okay? So illustrate muna natin yung ating unang subfunction. So with this one, sabi dyan, when x is greater than or equal to 1. So if it is x is greater than or equal to 1, we make use of the inequality symbol greater than or equal to. So we will be making use of a bracket. So values greater than 1, that will be the values to the right. So lahat ng nasa kanan natin. Okay? Ayan. And then for the second subfunction, sabi natin, anyway for this one, we're going to make use of the subfunction x plus 1 if it will be these values. Ito yung naka-color green natin. So for the second subfunction, gamit tayo ng another color. So we have here, when x is less than 1. So since less than lang yung ginamit nating symbol, we're going to make use of a parenthesis. Okay? So that will be all values to the left. Ayan. So if we are dealing with the values less than 1, we're going to apply our second subfunction, which is -x plus 3. Okay? So let us have these values. So for example, with the first one, we're going to identify our function if x is equal to -3. So that's our first one. So we have -3. So let us complete our number line. So if this is 1, ito ay 0, -1, -2, -3. And then for the right side, you have, if this is 1, this will be 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay. So we have here -3. So for -3, as you can see, dito siya sa ating second subfunction. This one. Ayan, so we have here negative 3. So we're going to make use of our second subfunction, which is negative x plus 3. So to evaluate, we're going to have negative x plus 3. That will be the value of f of x. Okay, so substituting the value of x to our function, we will be having negative, and then we have here negative 3 plus 3. We have here double negative, so that will become positive 3 plus 3, and that will give us 6. So the value of our function at negative 3 will be 6. Okay? So second one, how about if we have if x is equal to 0? Okay, so hanapin natin si 0. So ayun, ang ating 0. As you can see, eto siya. Still, nandito pa rin siya sa ating second subfunction, which is negative x plus 3. So, using the same subfunction, so we will be having f of x will be equal to negative x plus 3. So, that will be negative, substitute 0, 0 plus 3. That will give us 3. So, the value of our function at x is equal to 0 will be 3. And then, next one, so we have here, how about if we will be having 1? So, for 1, nakita natin for this, andun, yun ang ating reference point for this. So, ano yung gagamitin natin? Ito ba yung blue one, which represents our second subfunction, or the green one, which represents our first subfunction? So, tingnan natin siya. Since we have here 1, and eto siya, dito tayo sa, we make use of this one, yung bracket natin. Ibig sabihin yan, for this one, yung green colored natin, dyan nakabilang si 1. Kasi, as you can see, kung babalikan din natin itong ating given, sabi dyan, when x is greater than or equal to 1, ibig sabihin yan, kasama si 1. So, for this particular value of x, if x is equal to 1, we will be using the first subfunction, which is, we have f of x will be equal to x plus 1. So, substituting that to our function, substituting our x value to our function, we will be having 1 plus 1, and that will give us 2. So, therefore, the value of our function at x is equal to 1 will be 2. Okay? And for the last one, we have here positive 3. So, for positive 3, hanapin natin siya. So, si positive 3, eto siya. So, dito siya sa ating first subfunction. So, we will be applying this subfunction again, x plus 1. So, let us solve for y, or for f of x. So, if x is equal to 3, that will be f of x. Sabi natin, yung 3 natin dito, under siya dito sa ating first subfunction. So, ang gagamitin natin na subfunction will be x plus 1. Ayan. So, with this one, substituting that to our function, so we have 3 plus 1, that will give us 4. Okay, so the value of our function at 3 will be positive 4. Okay, so that's how we're going to evaluate a piecewise function. Okay, so let us have another example. Yan, let's say we have this piecewise function. So we have 3 subfunctions in this case. So let us evaluate our function at the given points. So we have the given points negative 4, negative 3, 0, and 1. So we have those x values. Okay, so let us illustrate our piecewise function using a number line muna. Okay, so as you can see, we have here, so makita natin, we have these reference points, negative 3, also negative 3, and then 1 for the second subfunction. And then for the third subfunction, we have 1. So those are the values that we will be marking our number line. Okay, so dun muna tayo mag-start. So first one, unahin natin. So let's say for the first subfunction, sabi dyan, x plus 4 if x is less than negative 3. So, dahil less than lang yung ginamit natin na inequality symbol dyan, so we are going to make use of a parenthesis for negative 3. So, less than, the values less than negative 3 will be all the values going to the left. Okay? So, all of that. So, if we have values of x less than negative 3, we will be applying the first subfunction x plus 4. Okay? So, for the second one, we have here 2x if x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So, they have so for this one, we are going to have x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So, dahil we make use of that greater than or equal to, meron tayong or equal to, so therefore, gagamit tayo ng bracket. So, all values greater than or equal to negative 3 will be, eto siya, okay? And then, we have another value here that we need to satisfy. Sabi niyan, x is less than 1. So, dahil less than lang siya, walang or equal to, o gamit tayo ngayon ng parenthesis. Okay, so all values between negative 3, including negative 3, and we have positive 1, we will be applying the second subfunction, which is 2x. Okay? And then for the last subfunction, we have 5x if x is greater than or equal to 1. So we have that or equal to. So therefore, we will be using, of course, a bracket. So values greater than 1, that will be all the values to the right. So lahat ng ito. Okay? So if the value of x is greater than 1, we will be applying that third subfunction, which is 5x. Okay? So ayan na siya. So let us try to evaluate our function now. Yan. So, we have, for the first one, we have, what is the value of the function if x is equal to negative 4. So, nasa yung negative 4 natin dyan? First subfunction, second, or third. So, sa negative 4 natin, it will be here. So, dahil nandito siya, sa ating, ito yung blue colored natin na sa ating number line. So, we will be applying yung ating first subfunction, which is f of x is equal to x plus 4. So, substituting that value of x to our function, negative 4 tayo. So, we have negative 4 plus 4, that will give us 0. So, ibig sabihin, if x is negative 4, the value of the function is 0. Okay? Second one, we have if x is equal to negative 3. Okay, so we have negative 3. Check this one. So, nasaan ba siya? So, nasaang part natin ilalagay yung ating, or what particular subfunction are we going to apply kung ang value daw ng x natin ay negative 3. So, tingnan natin mabuti. So, with this one, ang negative 3 natin ito. So, yung green na part ng ating, sa ating number line. So, dahil pasok siya dun sa green na part, we will be applying our second subfunction, wherein f of x will be equal to 2x. Okay? So, substituting the value of x to our function, that will be 2 times, replace natin yung ating x ng negative 3. So, that will be equal to negative 6. Okay? So, the value of our function at x is equal to negative 3 will be negative 6. Okay? Okay, next one. How about if x is equal to 1? So, if x is equal to 1, so hanapin natin siya. So, on what particular subfunction tayo? So, as you can see, dito tayo sa white na part na nakamark sa ating number line. Kasi that's where we can find positive 1. Okay, so if x is equal to 1, therefore, we will be having f of x will be equal to, our subfunction to be used for this one will be that third subfunction, that will be 5x. So substitute that to our function, substitute the value of x to our function. So we have 5 times 1, and that will give us 5. So the value of our function, if x is equal to 1, will be 5. Okay? So we have here 5. Ayan. So nauna natin si if x is equal to 1. So let us go back to the other value of x. So which is if x is equal to 0. Okay, so if x is equal to 0, tingin tayo dito. So, nasaan yung 0 sa ating number line? If this is negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, ayun si 0. Okay? So, dun tayo sa second subfunction natin, wherein f of x will be equal to 2x. So, substitute again the value of x to our function. We have 2 times 0. That will give us 0. So, therefore, if x is equal to 0, the value of our function is also 0. Okay? So, that's how we are going to evaluate piecewise functions. Ayan. So, that ends our discussion for piecewise functions. So, thank you for listening and hope to see you again next time.